Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, here we are with match 2. Jockji, next one out here for NsHoSeo. He is spawning in the top right-hand corner as the purple Terran player going to be facing off against here in the bottom left. From Team Liquid, the victor of the last series, it is Hero.
That's right. So Hero versus Jockji, another PvT, picking Antigua Shipyard. No real surprise there. It's a favored map of Jockji's. I mentioned before, Jockji's style loves to play, very aggressive, especially at the very beginning of games to try and eke out little advantages. And we'll see what he's going to do here, of course. Jockji's a player who was obviously on top of the world when he won the Code S finals. Kind of came out of nowhere. Was a really young victor until, of course, Life took that away. What was he? 15 years, 7 months, I think it was. Life was when he won his Code S championship about a week and a half ago. But since then, Jockji has had inconsistent results at best, including dropping all the way down into Code A. And is he out right now? I forget if he's in this season or not and has to requalify. I apologize. Not up on that 100%.
Well, either way, Jockji Hero is definitely poised to be a great match. Talking about the aggression that we're likely to see here out of Jockji, Hero should be prepared for this. He knows that it fits in Jockji's playstyle, and if he can just survive it, he's going to stand a better chance. Because, the early game is just so much where, not to say his late game is lacking at all here, but it's just the comfort area, if you will, for Jockji. So, looks like he is going to just be grabbing a quick gas here, standard 2-minute. And from Hero, nothing too atypical. The 2 gas is actually something that has really developed lately in the meta for Protoss players. We're seeing more and more of it because you have a lot of options coming out of it. You can tech really fast, but you could also just invest in a couple additional sentries and then play really, really greedy behind it. And,
it's a good response to what Jockji usually does. Jockji, of course, not going to go for a gasless fast expand. He's got gas. He wants to do something with it. Probably an add-on, but we'll find out. Maybe he saves up to that 100 and starts moving into another factory. On Hero side of things, though, you mentioned the flexibility that this provides. Currently, there's 2 on each gas right now. If he detects that there's a time for him to be able to tech, he can immediately slap 3 workers on each gas and start the gas income rolling. If he decides that, he can play it safe, he can start pulling workers off of there and go towards a quicker expansion. So you mentioned the flexibility that it gives you. We see it most often in PvP, but certainly has a place here in PvT, too.
So Jockji going to be getting now into the base of Hero, and he'll see these gases. It looks like proxying a factory in the bottom portion of his base, bottom quadrant. Is it going to be a starport follow-up? That's such a common place when you build a factory there that you do opt to go for starports, especially when you're in cross positions, because a quick observer out of your opponent is 100% going to be scouting that position. There's very little chance that they won't. So it does lend me towards thinking Banshees might be the name of the game. It could also be a Hellion drop, though. 2 Hellion with 6 Marines, I think it is.
Well, we actually have custom shells being researched here out of a tech lab on the barracks, so we may even be looking at a strong Marauder Hellion. Maybe not all in. Maybe we'll expand off of this, but could be.
No, that does make a lot of sense, actually, yeah.
Could be a very aggressive push there, too. We'll find out. Hero is preparing. Does he have a second gateway on the way? No, just content to sit on 1 gateway for now, trying to take vision of the map and make sure he knows exactly what his opponent is doing.
So planning on hitting before an observer even pops out here is Jockji. Hero, how's he going to be prepared for this? You see a Nexus on the production tab and on the mini-map. So he's definitely going to be playing a little bit greedy, but because of his extra amount of gas, he's going to have himself some sentries. Definitely, 100% of the time, it comes down to the force fields if you're going to be relying on these sentries. So Hero's just going to need to really secure his defense extremely well here against this push out of Jockji. And if he does, he can be poised. He just doesn't want to sustain too much damage and certainly doesn't want to lose that Nexus.
Well, Marines are starting to get into view here. The Zealot in the middle of the map. There is a Stalker that's positioned off to the side, but you hope that it doesn't walk up and engage here. And I think that the Zealot left just before the Marauder showed themselves. No, I don't think it did, because actually he must have caught just a small glimpse of the Marauder, because he actually diverted the path of the Stalker to start heading down towards the bottom a little bit more.
That's a great thing to point out, too, because Stalkers, guys, of course, can just poke a Marine pretty much infinity forever. So he would go in there for the free damage if he just thought it was Marines. But getting the view of that Marauder probably save that Stalker's life. So here we go. Engagement going to be inbound here in a second as Jockji is now pushing into the territory of the Nexus using the Marauder, which has that excellent range to poke away on this Nexus, which is about to complete. Don't expect to cancel here. Hero's going to try to save this. Force field's going to go down. Traps a Marauder beautifully, trying to get the focus fire on it. Nice slow on that Zealot, though. It's not going to get anything done. Stalkers do manage to clean up the first of the Marauders. Hellion's definitely going to be dangerous here, though, as these sentries will be fleeing up the map. Oh, a force field actually to commit to trying to save those sentries. This is going to get interesting.
That's right, and the warp gates did just finish up, so we could see a couple of units down here at the bottom if he wants to do it. No, it looks like he's going to warp in everything up at the top and get ready for a second push here. Probes making their way out on the map now. A few of those could get very easily torched by the Hellions, but it looks like they're a little more concerned about these sentries. They are going to be able to take them out. Jakji is really using his patented aggression here. This is exactly what we were talking about leading into this game, and he is showing it magnificently. Still 4 Hellions up, and this Marauder is actually alive for quite a while, doing a little bit of additional damage as more Hellions, more Marauders catching up here.
Hero's seemingly pretty confident about taking this out, but now in a pretty tough position once again as more Marauders and more Hellions do arrive. You know, he didn't use those probes when he had the opportunity to attack. His Stalker count getting dangerously low. The Marauder falling back very low, down to just 10 hit points, will get taken out. Additional Stalkers going to be warped in, but a good amount of probes here killed by Jakji, a total of 10 now. These probes in the main, more of them going down. In fact, 12, even 13 possibly probes killed off there. 12 probes killed by Jakji. Certainly doing the damage necessary. Look at that supply count for Hero down to just 29.
And even though the 8 worker gap will be made up somewhat quickly by Chronoboost and the second Nexus, this next command center is actually going to finish up momentarily. And build on top of that, Jakji has a pretty significant tech advantage at the moment. And you see that his aggression, his very patented Jakji aggression, was pretty successful at the beginning, and Hero has to rally back against it.
So Jakji opts to throw down a bunker in front of his natural expansion. And behind that, I am expecting then some greed to come out of our Terran from NsHoSeo. You know, he's sending out the medevac. He's going to do a little bit of harass to punish Hero if Hero does decide to move out with a very powerful gateway-based timing attack. Meanwhile, he's researching Stim, throwing down some additional refineries, going to take him up to a total of 3. And it looks like he's got a reactor going down, most likely on a barracks, just going to ramp up that Marine production. No, in fact, it is going to be on a starport, so maybe not Engineering Bay is going to go down. In fact, that's what I was just thinking. So here comes the drop for Marauders. Kevin, what kind of damage are they going to get done?
Well, they're going to kill a Stalker very quickly. They have a little bit tougher time against the Zealot, but with the sustain from the medevac, shouldn't actually be that big of an issue. More Stalkers coming up, but against 4 Marauders with a medevac overhead, they're actually going to die pretty quickly. Looks like they are going to pick off 1 Marauder, yes, and the Stalkers have all but fallen now. 3 Stalkers, 4 Stalkers in total have actually been killed. 1 Zealot already, a second Zealot just about to go down. As we can see in the resources lost, Hero is quite significantly behind.
What an incredibly annoying play here out of NsHoSeo's Jakji. Wow, only losing 1 Marauder, Kevin, doing incredible amounts of damage, not just in units lost, but also in mining time. Forced all those units to transfer down to the natural expansion. Hero cannot be happy about that at all. Meanwhile, +1 attacks going down for Jakji. Stim almost completed here. He's continuing to spew out medevacs. 2 additional barracks going down. Wouldn't be surprised to see a 3rd when he decides to push out here in the near future with what is accruing to be what looks pretty small, but actually quite formidable number of units here, because Hero has just been so stunted throughout this entire game that, you know, even though we're at the 12-minute mark here, small armies actually make a big difference. And here comes the move out right now from Jakji. He's also going to be throwing down a 4th refinery behind this. And as I said, either some additional production to go for a really heavy all-in style of push because he knows he can kill Hero, or a command center if he wants to play a little more standard, but definitely going to be a multi-pronged attack here out of Jakji.
Okay, well, we'll see what he can get done with this. Was that a factory funding overhead? Yeah, okay, so he could use that just a little bit to draw some of the fire away. Looks like this Marauder drop is circling back around the top here. There's already 3 Stalkers waiting for it, and it's not going to get too much done. He'll have to back that up. Oh, please, back that up. Oh, no. Okay, it looks like he will get the 4 Marauders down in time, but will he do enough damage? Oh, he will, because the Stalkers are actually walking towards the medevac, and as they're walking towards the medevac, they can't do a thing, and he's going to be able to pick up with 3 of his Marauders while at the same time charging through the front. Does he have enough damage here? No, not against the Immortal and the few Zealots that were there, and he's just going to load up and move directly into the main.
What a play there out of Jakji. Hero losing all the Stalkers. Now these last few Marauders with no anti-air. He's going to go for a drop on the high ground with everything because there's no anti-air up here. That puts Jakji in a fantastic position here. He's now going to be able to lift, pull the entire army up into the main, and he is just keeping Hero running back and forth between his main, between his natural. It's almost like a Blink Stalker style of harass here on Antigua Shipyard. Jakji really utilizing these medevacs extremely well by negating the anti-air capabilities of Hero.
This is just absolutely classic Jakji play. I mean, and this is the kind of of exciting brand of play that I love watching from him, too. You know, I mean, despite the fact that his results have slipped a little bit, I still think he's one of the more fun players to watch in StarCraft. Here he comes back in with yet another drop. He loses one medevac, but he takes out all the units that were sitting there in response. Going to go after the Nexus there for a second. Can't quite get it. Has to load back up. Only loses two Marines, it looks like, though, in the process.
Yeah, these are all equitable trades for Jockey. You know, he's picking off Stalkers, picking off whatever units honestly become available here. He might even get a Marauder. No, decides, all right, I've killed half the Marauder's actual health.
What?
No, fall back for a second. Oh, that is insane, the hit points on those units. And he's actually 33. It's slowly dying, but not enough focus fire to take out that Marauder on the high ground, trying to do some more drops. There's no anti-air once again. This is textbook surgeon work here out of Jockey, to make a reference back to what you referred to NsHoSeo's players in game one.
Yeah, and at the same time, he's expanding behind this. He's going to have another orbital command there momentarily. He's increasing his production. He's still doing damage with these drops. He's unpowering buildings. Now he's starting to camp production facilities. Things are just looking more and more bleak for Hero as Jockey just pulls his opponent apart. This was an absolutely stellar game from point A to point B here, and there it is, GG. Wow, and Jockey ties things up. It's 1-1 now between Liquid and NsHoSeo.
That was absolutely fantastic out of Jockey. I really, I mean, I know I said it once, but we got to take it back to it. It was surgical. He just picked apart Hero. So, what could he do? What honestly could Hero do? He took a lot of damage early on, and kind of just gave away a few units, and then followed up to that drop play. I mean, the drop where he killed off the Stalkers, slowly removing your opponent's anti-air capabilities, can have devastating effects if you're very, very good at drops, and that's exactly what we saw there from Jockey. He realized, I've killed a lot of your Stalkers. And I made the reference to Blink Stalker comparison because it was kind of just he had free reign over where he wanted to attack. He could attack on the high ground, attack on the low ground. There's really nothing that Hero was able to do about it. And that's not a position that you can be in against a player like Jockey when you're a Protoss.
Okay, well, game number 3 is going to be on Daybreak, it looks like. And we've seen how Jockey handles Protoss players. Now we're going to see how he handles Zerg players. Of course, Liquid does have a nice repertoire of Zerg players. It's going to be Xenio, their Korean Zerg player, going in next. So we're going to run to a commercial break, and when we get back, guys, it'll be time for game number 3.